But I assume they were because of
Amazing how old the video looks after all these years, right? The quality of the video.
Okay, I have got to interrupt.
But I remember this guy, Matt Lauer, he got prosecuted for some kind of thing. Well, look how young he looks now, like compared to like a few years ago. Crazy, right?
No, we do not.
Time just changes.
Story, though, we're going to come back with that in just a moment. First, this is
I
today.
mean, the time goes by so fast. 2001 and 2022 now. It's what, 21 years? I remember these two watching the news all the time back in the day. I actually got emancipated that same year. I was 17 years old and I lived in a motel room through social services. They paid for it back in Appleton, Wisconsin. But a few months before that, this is what happened. Oh, wait a minute. I went at the Menasha Hotel and then that other one, yeah. So I started out at the Menasha Hotel, which was downtown Menasha, which was this same year. Yeah, I was 17 then. It's just hard to get a good timeline on it. But yeah, I remember when I was in jail, waiting for to be placed into shelter care. I remember this guy, down like Imus. So watch it with this guy named Steve. What was his name? Steve Simwa. I met him at the Menasha Hotel too. Always get drunk and stuff. But yeah, I was in the Allegheny County Jail in Appleton, Wisconsin, on this very day that it happened. Okay, supposed to be getting out that same day, getting released to shelter care or some temporary juvenile housing kind of deal down in Neenah, Wisconsin, because I was originally a Winnebago County case. At the time, they didn't have a juvenile holding facility. The nearest one was Appleton, Wisconsin, or Manitowoc, Wisconsin. So I was going back and forth quite a bit back in the day. I was a troubled youth. And so on this day it happened, the guards at the Allegheny County Jail locked us in our cells. The entire jail was on lockdown, the entire county, the entire state of Wisconsin. So they locked everybody in their cells, but left the TV on. My cell was directly across from the TV, like just a little bit, but I still could see it, I still could hear it. The whole entire block was dead silent. Normally when they lock us down, people would bang on the doors, kick them, do like a mule kick, or they bang on them and make noises and call each other names and stuff. But that day, completely silent in the block, right? And I stood at that window. It was a tall window, but only like that wide. It was a really small window, right? But at least it was clear. I could look out of it, and I could hear the TV. And I just stood there for hours and hours and hours. Could have been 6 hours, could have been 8 hours. I don't know. It was a whole fucking day. Of course I used the bathroom, I got a drink of water or something. But yeah, they would bring us meals to our cells. I would help them eat it, go right back up to the window, and just keep watching it. And I watched it the entire day. A few days later, I got released, went to court, got my emancipation rights and everything, moved into the Menasha Hotel, and they bought me a TV and stuff. And this was still on the news, just not as much, but it was still on the news. And I watched the cleanup efforts, the recovery efforts and everything. And Brian Gumbel, wow. Damn. All these news people are like iconic. Like they seriously are iconic. The ones they have nowadays are shitty. Actually, the news people back then were actually really cool. Oh, I like to think that way anyway. So they weren't as part of the establishment as they are now. Okay, but yeah,
I'm just getting word from our assignment desk that
I didn't even know about New York 1 until a few years after that, around 2004 or 5ish. I went to New York City for the first time in 2004 with an ex-girlfriend, because I had a warrant and everything, and I wanted to get it out of Milwaukee with her and go from there. But we came back a week later through the Homeward Bound program that was in the city. But me and her went down to the site, and they were still working on it. It was still the bathtub. So that was just a few years later. It took a long time to get that cleaned up and to get it rebuilt. In 2005, they had some of the buildings redone, and I walked through them and everything. They had like an observation deck. You could watch them work on the site. It took forever to build that Freedom Tower. A long time.
I'm sorry, do you have any idea what hit the World Trade Center?
What it was?
Yeah, what kind of plane? We're getting reports that an airplane hit the building.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Honestly, I was walking up and it looked up and saw a big boom and fire. You know, I got to tell you, we were all saying around here that it was very interesting. That
is that the Empire State Building right there? I think.
We have no talk of a plane. However, I have to tell you, there are still things flying in the air.
I wanted to go to the memorial, and I should have in 2012. I should have went down there to the memorial site. But because the subway and everything was kind of shut down from 34th South, I couldn't really do much. I did walk around the city. It was right after Hurricane Sandy. It was that same weekend.
Specifically, are you?
I'm actually on Thompson Street.
I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I don't want to turn it too loud. It's cold in here, though. It's 27 degrees out there.
It looks like it just went right through it.
It's
really bad. A lot of people. I just heard somebody say that they thought it was a 737 that went through the building.
Taking a look right now, if we could just
Didn't go through it per se.
They're coming across with bulletins confirming that it was a plane that has crashed into the World Trade Center. Again, this is according to the Associated Press as we gather our own people down there at the scene, taking a look at what's going on in front.
A lot of lives, over 3,000 lives lost that very day. So imagine being up here.
Just what you're seeing right there.
You're not getting down. Just, there's a stairwell there. You could possibly make it down, but yeah, just imagine.
From 110 floors up, the uppermost floor, 110 floors up.
110? Sorry about the zoom.
In World War II, an Army bomber lost in the fog slammed into the upper floors of the Empire State Building. The crew of that plane was killed, but that was an accident. It happened in fog. As you can see, this is a clear blue sky day in Manhattan. If this was an accident, it would be a needle in a haystack kind of accident.
The timing of this is important. It comes before 9 o'clock, perhaps.
I mean, look how big that gap. Look at that.
Perhaps not everybody was at work.
That's just crazy.
If the building was in fact crowded with workers, we're looking at probably some casualties and injuries of considerable proportions. But right now, there's no way of telling that.
I'm on the 33rd floor of Mercer Street, and we felt the plane fly right over us, and then I thought it looked like it was going to go right into the World Trade Center, and then it was going to veer off, but it slammed directly into it.
Joining us now on the line is an eyewitness who is in the Empire State Building.
I saw this plane. It didn't look like it was out of control at all. This plane had
I think I know where that's at. I think.
It seemed as though it just flew right into the building without...
Yeah, like he wanted to fly into the building.
Some of the video is pretty clear and some of it isn't. I've seen HD video from New York City in the 90s. They did an HD video drive around. It was pretty interesting. But yeah,
making a straight, steady decline towards the World Trade Center.
But yeah, watching this, I remember a lot. And I found out things about it. I found out the technologies that were being used. I found out what kind of network they had around the area. You know, I found so much stuff about it. It's sad, but then it also allowed me to find out what they, like, for example, I used it in Denver in 2006. It was called Ricochet. It was one of the first wide area wireless internet, not Wi-Fi, but like cellular based kind of. And they had and it was formerly owned by Metrocom. They actually reactivated that network in this area for the first responders to be able to communicate properly. They had the Metrocom modems that would attach to laptops through serial. I think somewhere USB, but I think it was serial like interface. So that was another unknown about this. I found it out through a few websites at the time doing some research on it, and it was just accidental like research. It was just because I wanted to see how Ricochet really worked back in the day. Because I was using it for like $25 a month at the time. It was only 198, 128 kilobits per second down, and I think it was 128 kilobits per second maximum, like up and down. So it's pretty slow to in today's standards, you know.
Up towards LaGuardia. So this is a routine pattern, but they're never supposed to be that low. And I would find it hard to believe that it was a navigation failure in these clear skies.
We can see thick black smoke indicating the fire is still going on right now in the World Trade Center.
NBC4. I used to watch that station when I was in Milwaukee too, because they would live stream their news. I would always watch it for some reason. I was always interested in live streams on different websites in 2004 when I would visit. Damn, you can really see right in there. Kind of. Shit.
This could have been an accident.
I don't want to go too long because this is a very long video and I'm not going to watch it too long. I might get out of here and start going to Starbucks soon. It's already 5:36 in the morning. But then I may not. I don't know. I mean, I would like to go try to get some money, you know. That way I can pay for more diesel, you know, things like that.
In the area, and my window faces south, so it looks directly onto the World Trade Center. And I would say, you know, approximately 10 minutes ago, there was a major explosion from probably, it looks like about the 80th floor. It looks like it's affected probably 4 to 8 floors. Major flames are coming out of the,
it's crazy.
The north side.
Sad too.
The east side of the building, yes. And it was very loud explosion followed by flames.
But yeah, I'm gonna get out this thing so that way I can. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna get prepared and probably get out of here. Probably get there by 6. Probably get there by 7. I'm gonna go make some coffee. See, I strapped it down so it doesn't move.
Descending on this area.
But yeah, I want to go to the. Oh.
My God.
That looks like a second plane.
I
Has just
did
hit.
not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
We just saw another plane coming in from the side.
You did. That was out of.
Yes, and that's the second explosion. You could see the plane come in just from the right-hand side of the
He's so
screen.
calm. His voice. It's crazy.
So this looks like it is some sort of a concerted effort to attack the World Trade Center that is underway in downtown New York.
Did you hear the explosion from your position?
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, we heard it, and because I was just like standing there pretty much looking out the window, I didn't see what caused it or if there was an impact.
So you have no idea right now?
Another plane just hit. Right, oh my God, another plane has just hit. It hit another building, flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. Right, God, it's right in the middle of the building.
This one into the east tower.
Yes, right in the middle of the building.
You can tell she's about to.
And right now,
just.
that was definitely looked like it was on purpose.
You saw a plane?
Yes, I just saw a plane go into the building.
As you look at the picture from our chopper,
Can't blame her. She wants to break down.
Jim Friedel in
It's hard for her all together.
appeared to back sharply and smash directly, perhaps purposefully, into.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that wasn't faked.
Oh my goodness.
I thought this was. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I thought this was all faked. No. The quality of the video and everything. You know, there's no way you could fake that. No, there's no way.
A terrorist act of proportions that we cannot begin to imagine at this juncture.
We'll try to get a better vantage point and see what we can see.
Sometimes I wear the tinfoil hat, but yeah, just watching this right now, yeah, it convinced me that this really happened, and that a plane actually hit the Pentagon. I don't know yet. I saw some pictures of it. That's but still.
If you're taking a look now, you can see that we just had another explosion, and that is considerably lower. And is that in the other building? Is that what I'm witnessing?
That apparently does look like it is in the other building at this point.
No report of any casualties. Without jumping to too many conclusions, looking at the extent of this damage and knowing how well populated that building is.
Damn.
There's another explosion down to the left side on the second World Trade Center tower. You see that huge ball of fire that just went up there. I know it's quite a distant shot, but that looked to me to be happening at number 2 World Trade Center, at the second World Trade Center tower, and it is at some distance there. But this is now a dramatic development on the second World Trade Center tower, and I can't imagine that there would not be a serious evacuation and a full mobilization now, emergency command center, and so forth, as the fire department moves as much equipment as possible to the World Trade Center.
A lot of uncertainty right now as to what is happening. You can see there are choppers. I believe that could be a police helicopter that is... Oh,
Wow.
we just saw...
Oh my goodness. You're looking at another live picture right now. Oh my goodness.
Of what I believe was a...
I remember that network, the Warner Brothers network.
Hit another plane.
This
Tower
does not
2
look like an accident of any kind.
kind at this point. Another plane has hit Tower 2, the Twin Towers. You hate to say the words, but what comes to mind right now, terrorist attack. That is what it looks like at this point.
And don't forget the 93 bombing. It was a vehicle. It was a van, I believe, and it blew the parking garage. It did considerable damage down in the parking garage, in the lower levels, in the sub levels. So.
Where do you get your knowledge from? How much time do you have in a pilot? There's another
explosion, multiple explosions, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw another explosion. Obviously,
we're just watching it again. It's the first time. This is
the other tower, ladies and gentlemen. Another explosion at tower number 2 of the World Trade Center just happened live on our air.
The first that we had heard, the impact only affecting Tower 1, but as our producers and reporting staff in the field is telling us, and you can see now to the left of your screen, there is fire in the second tower.
Just a little bit, you can see right at the bottom of the TV station, TV screen, billowing smoke from a bomb or explosion. We do not know if it's a bomb. I'm speaking out of turn here. A second.
And to conduct a
I'm sorry, but
investigation.
Can't stand him.
And to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence.
Probably a safe bet. Thank goodness that was a helicopter that just flew by. I'm just a little nervous right now when you hear aircraft go past.
We're from the White House. I'm assuming that everyone is being evacuated from the Pentagon?
Well, nobody's given us the official word yet, but I think that's probably a safe bet. Thank goodness that was a helicopter that just flew by. I'm just a little nervous right now when you hear aircraft go past.
We're hearing that the Associated Press is quoting witnesses as saying it was an aircraft that crashed into the Pentagon. And that is what we're looking at right now. Our Gannett cam looking at this huge billowing.
And I can literally get there. I can drive there in like right now. If I was to go, I could drive there in about 35 to 45 minutes. So yeah, that's just crazy. So this affected it. This affected the whole. Wow. just watching this all over again since I was 17 years old. I avoided watching a lot of this stuff since I was 17, 18 years old. I just, you know, it was too much. But being 38 years old now, it's like, just now, you know, I understand it, but I don't understand why they did it. I think what they did was horrendous. Those motherfuckers. But you get what I'm saying, right? You know, like when you're a kid, you don't understand stuff as much. You don't get it. So.
Airport airline takeoffs nationwide. All airliners nationwide.
I remember that.
There will be no more takeoffs, and I imagine that the planes that are in the air right now are going to be diverted to the closest airport as soon as possible, because in a situation like this, the authorities don't know where the next one might come from.
We're trying to diffuse through the information that's coming into the newsroom. Some of it you've already reported, but essentially the government officials are trying.
I think that's a DC station, or is that New York?
As Jim Dolan explained, they are trying to limit the vulnerability of other places. The Hudson River crossings have been closed, and that, as you can imagine, is creating a bit of commuter chaos. This is a live picture now from the GW Bridge. New Jersey officials say they've gone into an.
I know someone that I think he says that he has to get into New York this way when he's working up at the law firm there. So, anyway, he's an awesome person. I can tell you that.
All airports are shut down. All subways, especially going into, I should say, subways going into the World Trade Center area, obviously not doing that. Schools in the World Trade Center area right now have been evacuated, but as of right now, the Board of Ed has not made a decision on any other schools. All New York City firefighters have been asked to report to duty.
It is virtually impossible to get into
the movie World Trade Center with Nicolas Cage and a few other famous people. That's a surreal movie. That's really surreal. When that movie got released, it triggered a lot of people. It triggered a lot of negative stuff. I'll tell you that much. But I didn't want to watch it for a long time either. I really didn't. But I gave in and I watched it, and you know, yeah.
And I'm sure that's something that they will sort out later. Absolutely. Because I'm sure not a single one of these candidates is worrying about that at this moment.
No. They want to make sure that everybody is locked down for the time being to make sure everything is safe. Obviously, the tunnels, again, we keep talking about the symbolism, but the subway tunnels, again, another symbol of New York. And they want to make sure all of those are safe.
U.S. intelligence sources are confirming the reports that one of the planes was a hijacked flight, an American flight from Boston to Los Angeles. They are also now looking into what's going on at the Pentagon. They don't have any details, but they have now put government buildings around the city of Washington on a heightened state of alert.
I would hope that at one point, at least we discover from the terrorists what their grievance is. Because you can't have enough FBIs and enough police and enough National Guards to defend yourself.
I remember MSNBC when they first started out. Microsoft started it, I believe, around the late 90s, 97, 98.
A report from Associated Press now that the White House was evacuated after the Secret Service received what AP is describing as a credible, a credible threat of a terrorist.
I think I know that building right there. It's just so surreal to see this. Like, it's just surreal because, you know, 10 o'clock a.m.
Both towers were hit by planes in Washington. A terrorist alert because the Pentagon was hit by a plane, and there's a fire on the Washington Mall.
Fire in the Washington Mall? No, there wasn't.
And the LA has a tactical alert where they are beginning to evacuate buildings. And then there is also another decision by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. No planes are going to be allowed to take off from any airport in this entire country. No planes will be taking off today. They have made a decision to stop all air traffic control, all air traffic.
Marsha, we got to interrupt you. We just saw live from Chopper 2 yet another explosion. Did anybody, Janine, what did you see? You saw, was it an airplane or was it a...
It looks like a part of the building, if not most of the top collapsed, and all the debris from the building was falling down towards the ground.
Look at the smoke. Look at the smoke.
It's not smoke, it's
Do we have Jim Smith available?
It's
on
the
Chopper 2? Is he takes these pictures. Jim?
Yes, I am here, Michael.
It's the concrete dust and dirt and everything, and
Kind of secondary follow-up explosion on the World Trade Center #2.
so I think outside the box. I think in detail. This is how my mind works. I've thought about this many times in the past. Over the many years now. Why is it not? So everything that was inside that building, right? Desks, walls, piping, wiring, pictures, papers. I mean, papers did fly. I've heard reports of people finding papers blocks away, and other materials. But yeah, it essentially is like a grinder, it's like a shredder. As it came down, everything got shredded into nothing. That's what the dust is, though. That's all the materials, everything that the building comprised of, just completely pulverized in the just dust, and it just just pulverized, and that's why you see it. It's creating a vacuum. See it? See how it's getting sucked in and it's getting blown out. Okay, so as the building's coming down, okay, and this is the science. And if you understand science and stuff, you'll know this. As the building came down, you saw that it was rolling in, getting sucked in, and now it's being blown out. It's like a fan, okay? Fan pushes air. As the building came down, it created suction. It sucked it in, and then it got blown out in all directions, okay? And that's what this is. And now it's getting blown out because of all the buildings around here too. They act like a break, and it's drifting up. See, these buildings are pretty tall. I know some of these buildings. I don't know them. Like, I've never been inside of them, but I think I've walked past them a few times. And I do remember being there in 2005 for a few months, at least 3-4 months. I got sick pretty bad quite a few times. And here's the thing: this stuff right here got sucked into the subway system nearby. The A train, the number 1, I believe, one goes through there, the path, things like that, okay? And it just gets, this stuff right here got thrown around the city for years, for a long time, as they cleaned out the site too. There's video of people
trying to get away, but the entire, at least as far as I can see, the top half of the building, at least half of it, I can't.
Oh yeah, and when the buildings came down too, the entire phone network, it completely went down, because they had a major switchboard for most of the city in this area right here, and the entire switchboard was pulverized. I believe it was a Verizon system at the time, or was it a Bell system? I forgot which one it was.
Sense over the past hour, because from what I'm seeing,
but yeah,
smoke as there was an hour ago, that they have not made much.
I always think in detail. I always think about every like possible detail. There we go. That's a. It's not exploding. It's not exploding. It's technically being. But that's crazy how it just comes straight down, pretty much.
All right. We hope that Kristen was not in a position where she would have been injured by that. But the tower is literally crumbling into the streets of Manhattan there, and I don't know.
And the Hudson River right here kind of flowed.
Debris is falling, or where that debris has fallen, and we'll attempt to.
Everything underground too was pulverized, just completely obliterated. The PATH station, everything got obliterated. Everything around that immediate area was just obliterated. You would never have been able to recognize it if you visited many years later and you never been there before.
That's a very haunting description that Bob Kerr just gave of that.
There we go. Now it's
aircraft near the White House, and one can only wonder if that was something that ultimately ended up in the Pentagon.
We just saw a live picture of what seemed to be a portion of the building falling away from the World Trade Center. If we can re-rack that, to about 20 seconds ago, you'll see something dramatic.
Yeah, they didn't use like digital. They weren't using digital. Well, I think they may have been using like digital buffering back in the buffer video for about a minute or so. I would assume, anyways. But they can go back 20 seconds pretty quick.
I don't know if this is the correct tape.
Tape? Okay, I guess they were using tape then.
Something there is about to happen, falling away right there.
Yeah, it looks like a big chunk of it has just peeled away.
One can only hope that the area has been evacuated, but of course...
No, it hasn't.
All the emergency vehicles and the people who might have been injured early in the morning.
It's a corridor where a lot of Army offices are located.
Wow.
And some people were...
Jamie, I need you to stop for a second. There has just been a huge explosion. We can see a billowing smoke rising, and I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion, this huge billowing smoke in the second tower. This was the second of the two towers hit, and I cannot see behind that smoke, obviously, as you can either. The first tower in front has not changed, and we see this extraordinarily and frightening scene behind us of this second tower, now just encased in smoke. What is behind it?
Put it this way, just watch the movie World Trade Center with Nicolas Cage. At the point that these come down in the movie, they simulate it. They show it, yeah.
Never assumed that we would see what we're seeing now, so we have no idea really what might happen next. And if we could aid those who are trying to get control of this situation, if you are at home and if you're I'm more than likely quietly cried in my jail cell when this happened. Like when this finally happened, I think I probably did. I don't remember exactly, but I probably did. I'm sure a lot of people just bawled their eyes out and just were overcome with sadness and despair just because of seeing this. And you still would nowadays too, just watching it many years later. So yeah, it's. It looks like a building collapsed, but it's unclear right now.
Yeah, it's just really sad, that this happened. It never should have happened. This is beyond comprehension. Why they would even do something like this? I mean, there's no reason why they should have done this. These terrorists, they never should have. This whole country might be shitty with what's going on in the world, but this is no way to get your point across. You know what I mean? If they wanted to make a statement, they could have went on national TV or whatever, and they could have aired their grievances or something. But this was unnecessary. You know what I mean?
Another explosion on the far side of one of the buildings from where we're standing.
I was about to get out this thing, but it's just so.
Another explosion on the right-hand side. Another building has gone up on the right-hand side of the road. People are now running down the street. We're not sure if that was another explosion or if that was advanced debris. Joining me also is Jim Plant.
No, that was a building coming down.
Tell me exactly what you saw from your vantage point across the street.
I was just across Liberty in West here, and I saw the second plane hit the Tower 2. Looked like a 737. It hit a glancing blow. It didn't hit direct. I don't know where the rest of the plane went, but it went in, fireball came out, and it hit lower than the first plane, which hit the upper floors.
Jim, thank you very much. At this point, as you can tell, there's absolute pandemonium in this area because of what has just happened. Exactly what, I can't confirm, but on the far side of the building, there seemed to be another explosion, and also on the right-hand side, there was also another explosion. We're not sure if that was extra reverberation from what happened at the World Trade Center, if that was an added explosion.
This is what I wanted to show you guys. I just didn't want to wanted to let it play through, but
people that were running down the street are
you see how close it's getting to them?
We don't have any information as far as what the most recent reverberations were, but from
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
I arrived on the scene about an hour and a half ago, and believe it or not, there was another major explosion. The building itself, literally the top of it came down, sending smoke and debris everywhere.
It's not smoke, it's debris and dust. possible smoke, but not really.
Here in a shoe store, actually trying to get away from most of the debris. It's just an incredible sight. They had a lot of emergency workers around the building, and of course, everybody's hoping that these people were able to get out of there without being injured. But
No, they didn't make it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Those emergency workers and other people helping and all that, they didn't make it out. Just tell you that right now. Because they were still helping people in the first and then in the second. Yeah, basically the tower that came down first is the one that was hit first, I believe, and then the other one got about a half hour later. I believe this one is the one that comes down half hour, 45 minutes later, I believe. Maybe about an hour tops. They have the exact timelines. You can Google it. They have the exact timelines. They have the exact.
Trying to get out of the way of this thing.
You know what I mean?
The scene is horrific. One of the two towers literally collapsed. I was making my way to the foot of the World Trade Center. Suddenly, while talking to an officer who was questioning me about my press credentials, we heard a very loud blast, an explosion. We looked up, and the building literally began to collapse before us. There was debris falling, I'd say at least 3/4 the height of the building. People within the entire perimeter began literally, including myself, which is why I'm out of breath, to run for our lives. And I am now standing in a black cloud of smoke left over from the debris. There's soot. It's difficult to breathe. People ran into nearby office buildings once they got out of the danger zone just to be able to breathe. I'm on a payphone on the street right now, and I literally cannot see more than a quarter block away. That's how thick the smoke is. I'm on Murray Street in West Broadway. For those who know,
Murray and West Broadway.
Not clear now is why this explosion.
I know where Broadway is. I just don't know where Murray is exactly. But I've been I've probably been there. Yeah, I remember payphones around that area around 2004 or 5. So yeah, like I said, I need to get out this thing. It's already 6:02, so I need to get out this thing here. But yeah, it's crazy.
Concern right now for New York City Emergency Rescue Squad is to get people on the ground away from that scene as soon as possible. If you live in the area, if you live
It's horrendous.
What the other housing developments in that area,
I just wish it never happened. It never should have happened.
Let's go back to a few seconds ago. This is now about
fucking
an hour
crazy.
After the first impact, we saw some dramatic footage of a portion of one of the twin towers actually it appearing to fall away from the rest of the building. Can we go to the tape now? Here we go, right here. This is, I mean, when you look at it, the building has collapsed. That tower just came down.
We do not know why the second tower collapsed.
But yeah, the link to this full video is in the video description. This is the
Whether because the core of the building was damaged or whether because of some other kind of.
and this is the person that made the video here. Okay. Let me put it out.
There's nothing but white smoke. I can no longer see the World Trade Center now. It's all up.
So, giving him credit. I mean, I'm glad he put it out. This is for our future generations to watch, to know what happened, to understand what happened. Not to understand why they did it, but understand what these people have, what they went through, what, you know what I mean, things like that.
I ran as fast as I could, went inside of a building about a block away. I stood in the building for a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden the building started filling up with smoke. I was with a bunch of law enforcement officers. We couldn't get out of the building because everything was locked up. And then I came out, and everything was filled with ash, and it looks like I'm in a surreal movie.
We're on the West Side Highway, and I am sad to report
Damn.
that I actually watched the entire South Tower of the World Trade Center come down, screams from everyone on the sidewalks as they thought that perhaps another plane had slammed into the side of these buildings. We're hearing late reports that there might be fighters, U.S. fighters.
According to my mom's fiance, Michael Cambereri, before he had passed away more than a year ago now, but at the time I believe he was assistant coroner or something for Montgomery County or on loan to Montgomery County. He said he had an office just right down the street from where I'm at now, over by White Flint there in the medical building. But he also worked for a funeral home and then before that, Capitol Police. And but he said that they sent him up here to do body recovery or something like that. So, and he just couldn't really say much about it. I mean, it just choked him up. You know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Aside from the stairway.
The entire area of Lower Manhattan right now is completely engulfed in a big black...
Yeah, but yeah, the full video's in the description. We can get this guy credit here. I just wanted to put my commentary on it because I was in the city just a few years after it happened, and wanted to say what I was doing back then and where I was and what I remember vaguely. As you know, it's been what, 21 and some change years now, so you know the time goes by quick, and I've done so much in between then and now, you know.
Flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me what you think. I mean, my heart's in my mouth. I mean, I pray for these people. There's no words to describe what's going on out there. I mean, you see bodies just coming a half hour later, still coming out of the goddamn sky. Devastating. I can't imagine anything worse than this.
We have reporters on the ground. Let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, there are times in our lives that are life-changing, where your life can never be the same, and this appears certainly to be one of them. When that second tower went down...
Just hearing the way he said that was like...
Other media have reporters on the scene. There are thousands of...
The most realist thing that he said, but it was truth, you know, and sad at the same time.
We are, in fact, trying to ascertain the safety.
It goes without saying this is the most serious attack in the United States in more than 100 years.
Yeah, Tom Brokaw's right. The most serious attack ever.
During the Civil War, has this country suffered this kind of damage within its interior? Obviously, Pearl Harbor, which triggered World War II, was a horrific event as well. But
I gotta get off this thing so I don't. Sorry, I just gotta get off this thing. It's it's crazy how this shit happens, though. It's just amazing how, you know what I mean? Alright, everybody have a great morning. I'll see you later.
Texas Ranger, 2 episodes tonight starting at 6, 5 Central.